Let's compare the Osmo Pocket 3 and the iPhone 15 Pro Max. These are cameras that I typically carry with me when I want to capture things, and they both have different features that I think differentiate themselves. But is the Osmo Pocket really worth having when you have an iPhone 15 Pro Max? That's what we're going to discuss in this video. My name's Jared Hill. I'm a photographer and videographer with almost 20 years of experience, and I've shot everything from weddings to NASCAR. So let's first talk about design and portability. I really do like the Osmo Pocket, the flip out of the screen and it turns on, powers up, and is ready to go. It's definitely really cool. I definitely was blown away when the thing came out. I thought, this is a cool device. It's definitely fun. And when people see it, they're just blown away. Like, what is that? That's the coolest looking thing. Kids are like, are you a YouTuber? I mean, it's just really funny when you're holding this device out and filming with it, the responses that you get out of people. Portability wise, that's where things start to fall apart. This is for sure a neat design and a cool camera, but is it very practical to use in real life? Well, that's where things get a little bit tricky. When you shut it down, it's great that it powers itself down and it goes into kind of a sleep state mode. You then have to put it into its case, and so we'll put it into its case, then pop off the little deal on the bottom that gives us the 1/4-20 mount so that we can mount a tripod or a little stand on the bottom of it. And then we've got to put it away in the bag. Then we've got to put this, undo this, and put this in here like so. And it just takes a lot of time to pack all of this stuff up. This case is as small as it can get, and sometimes is kind of a pain in the butt to zip up. The last little portion of the case often is a pain to get zipped closed, and I'm always afraid I'm going to tear it. Nonetheless, it can be kind of a pain. This is another thing that you have to carry around with you. Whereas your phone, it just goes in your pocket. We're all familiar with the iPhone 15 Pro Max. You've got 3 cameras on it. You've got a nice big display. It's very easy to use. It's very portable, and you're going to have it with you anyways. So the iPhone is definitely more ready to go and ready to use at any time. When I want to use the Osmo Pocket, I have to get the thing out. I have to get it out of its case, get the stand for it, or get some sort of attachment for it, whether it be the external battery or the base that has the 1/4-20. Sometimes I will just use it without all of that stuff because I get too annoyed at having to get everything out and power the guy up, and then it's ready to go. So portability suffers a little bit when it comes to this device because it's something else that you have to carry around with you. So let's talk camera specs. With this camera on the Osmo 3, you get 4K up to 60p. That's something that we also have on the iPhone. So on the iPhone, if we go into the camera app into video, we can shoot up to 4K 60 here as well, and we could toggle between these different shooting modes. We also have ProRes here on this camera, and we can shoot ProRes up to 30. We cannot shoot ProRes at 4K 60. On the Osmo Pocket, we have a couple of different video compression modes. We have H.264 or highly efficient HEVC video recording modes. We don't have something like ProRes on this little camera. Now let's talk about the camera lens options. On the Osmo Pocket, we have one camera sensor with one lens. And what we can do here is we can zoom in and out. And so we can zoom in by pressing forward or back and zooming in and out. We can zoom up to 2x on this camera. And so it doesn't zoom in that far because we have one camera and it's going to only zoom as far as it will maintain good quality. And it does maintain good quality whether you're at 1x or zoom into 2x. But on the iPhone, we have multiple cameras. If we go back into the iPhone, we've got an ultra wide camera, we have a standard camera, we have 2x, and we also have 5x, and then we have the ability to zoom in a bit further. And so that's when the practicality of the Osmo Pocket falls apart. If you're wanting to shoot things that are further away, you're not going to be able to do that with the Osmo Pocket because it only has the 2x zoom. Now, one of the other things that the Osmo Pocket does come with is an ultra wide angle lens. And so this ultra wide angle lens magnetically attaches, and so we could just simply magnetically attach it to the front of the camera, which you'll notice makes it impossible for it to go into sleep mode. So make sure you remove that again before you put the camera into sleep mode or put it to sleep or turn it off. And so that's kind of a bummer, but it's nice that you can have an ultra wide. And so that gives you a wide angle. So if you're in the face of your action, up close and personal, the wide angle lens attachment is great. And there are other lens attachments available as well, such as a black mist and an ND filter that you can attach to the front of this camera. When it comes to attaching additional lenses to an iPhone, things get a little bit trickier because you'll need a case that has some way to integrate lens filters into that that case, and that can be a little bit tricky. Some of those cases aren't fun to use when you're not using the filters, and so it's just another thing that you have to have. But it is something that's available. There are lots of case manufacturers that have filter attachments for the iPhone. So let's talk video quality. Obviously, on the iPhone 15 Pro Max, we know that the video quality is really good. Apple has really stepped things up, especially with adding in ProRes support on the iPhone 15. You can capture amazing video content. Most people wouldn't even know it was from an iPhone. If you were holding it and stabilizing it really well, people would think that that was shot on a much nicer camera. The Osmo Pocket also captures really good quality video. I was really surprised at the video quality that was able to come out of this little tiny sensor on the camera. But DJI's really been stepping up their game with their cameras a lot, whether it's with their drones, their action cameras, or the Osmo Pocket. You know that you're going to get some of the best video quality out there possible because of the technology that they're putting into these cameras. And so the video quality out of the Osmo Pocket is absolutely phenomenal. It is great video. But is it better than the iPhone 15 Pro Max? I can't really say that it is, especially considering that the iPhone 15 Pro Max has multiple cameras that allow me to zoom in and get closer to the action. So let's talk about the stabilization. That is definitely something that brings people to the Osmo Pocket, is having the stabilization, something that you're not going to get much of on the iPhone. Of course, the iPhone 15 Pro Max has some built-in optical stabilization and some digital stabilization that does a good job, but it's not going to be able to compensate for as much shake as this little gimbal will. Of course, you can still move things around, and the gimbal is not going to be able to compensate for the fact that you can't keep your arm still. But if you are moving and making fluid movements, the gimbal is going to do an amazing job keeping things still and steady. And that's where you want something like this, is if you find that your iPhone footage is a little bit too shaky, you're not able to hold your iPhone still enough, and the form factor of the iPhone is a little bit tricky. When you're shooting video, you've kind of got a lot to hold on to with your hand, and it's harder to stabilize. And that's where something like the Osmo Pocket really starts to shine. I typically would attach the base to the bottom of it, so I have a little bit more to hold on to because it is relatively small. And I also like to have the tripod foot on the bottom of it as well, because it gives me a lot more to hold on to here. And then even if I want to go for like an underslung kind of low to the ground shot, I can do that as well. These are things that would require extra attachments for me to pull off with the iPhone, because holding the iPhone down low is just really awkward. And if you're trying to hold the screen or something like that, you're going to change your exposure, your focus points. Can't really touch the screen on the iPhone when you're shooting. Whereas the Osmo screen definitely stays out of the way and is very easy to monitor what's going on with your shot. So creatively, you're going to have a lot more options with the Osmo simply because of the stabilization and the ability to really just hold this in a lot of different positions and make changes to your angles and stuff like that by using the joystick on the back of the camera. Now, when it comes to autofocus, both the iPhone and the Osmo seem to do a pretty good job of achieving autofocus, maintaining autofocus. The tracking autofocus features that the Osmo has are really where the Osmo takes off and is just amazing. So let's go ahead and turn the camera around so it's pointing at me. I can triple tap on the joystick and it's going to turn the camera all the way around, going into a selfie mode. I can tap on the screen and that's going to autofocus and also tell the camera where to meter exposure from. But if I double tap on my subject, active track is enabled, and as I move around, the camera moves around as well. And this is just a really cool feature. So I'm able to tap on my subject and then have the camera track them, so I don't have to be perfect with keeping the subject in frame. That is something that the iPhone does not have. You're not going to be able to get that unless you buy perhaps the Osmo Mobile, which is a gimbal that you can attach your phone to. So this is a cool feature and probably one of the most killer features of the Osmo Pocket 3. So let's talk audio quality. Audio quality is super important when you're shooting video because nothing's worse than video that doesn't have good audio. With our iPhone, we have lots of mics that are built into this iPhone to capture the best quality audio possible. And the iPhone does a great job. And I could say the same for the Osmo Pocket. The Osmo Pocket does a good job of capturing audio for things that are close to it. But if you buy the complete Osmo Pocket kit, it also comes with a wireless mic that connects really easily. All I have to do is power this thing on, And once it powers on, it vibrates to let me know. And then also it connects automatically, as you can see here, and it's telling me the battery percentage level of it. And it's also giving me the audio levels on the back of it as well. So I can attach this to my subject just by clipping it onto them. And then I can use active track to stay on my subject. And I can do a walk and talk video without having to really think too much about keeping my subject in frame, because the gimbal and the camera is keeping them in frame using active track, and I'm getting good audio from the microphone that I have placed on my subject. This is a great kit, an excellent feature set to have, and something that's so compact. So if I wanted good audio out of an iPhone, of course, if my subject is close to the iPhone, I'll get decent audio. But if I want better audio quality of a subject using something wireless like with the Pocket 3, then I can use a setup like this Hohem wireless mic setup, which you can see here comes with 2 different microphones and a USB-C attachment that I can attach to the bottom of my phone. So let's go ahead and turn my phone on and get into a video mode here, and I'll attach this to the bottom of my phone, and then I will grab one of the mics. You can see that it powered up here, and I have channel 1 and 2. I also have USB-C here so that I can continue to charge my phone, and I have a headphone jack here for monitoring. And now I have a microphone that I can clip to my subject, and it also has a magnet here as well. So if you don't have anything to clip to, you can magnetically attach that to your subject. And then I just simply clip it to their lapel like so, and I've got good audio quality coming in directly into my iPhone. And so with 2 channels, that means that you can have 2 different people talking. You could be filming 2 different people and having 2 different people mic'd up, which is absolutely fantastic. I think this is a great device to have if you're going to choose to go in the route of filming with your iPhone 15 Pro Max. So let's talk a little bit about the user interface and controls for shooting video. On the iPhone, you kind of have everything right here. You can easily tap and go between different zoom modes here, and then you can easily go between those different zoom modes by tapping and holding and dragging back and forth. You have a light meter up here. You have the ability to turn your flash on and off so that you can shoot with a little bit of additional light. We have ProRes as an option here, which is a very high bitrate video, which is going to give you higher quality coming out of this iPhone. We have the ability to go into an action mode here, which is going to put the camera into a mode that's best for shooting things that are moving quickly. And then we have many different modes such as 4K, 24, 30, 60, and we have HD modes, 30, 60, as well. And so the interface is pretty cut and dry, and there seems to be a lot of room to move around and for me to tap on all of these features. If we look at the Osmo, we can swipe down on the top of the screen to get into our settings. If we swipe up from the bottom of the screen, we get to our resolution. So if we swipe down, we get to our settings. We have to go into settings, and we have to swipe and try and find what we're looking for. So perhaps we're looking for video compression. We have to go and swipe and do some moving around through the menu to get there. If we swipe over from this side, we have some quick action buttons such as exposure control, white balance, glamour mode, color mode. There's a lot of text moving here, which can be a little disorienting at the beginning, but it's easy to figure out once you understand the main things that you're looking for, such as going into a manual mode for shooting with manual camera settings, changing your color mode from normal to HLG or D-Log, or changing your focus mode from single to continuous to product showcase. Definitely some cool features. Most of the time, you're probably going to want to be in continuous when shooting with the Osmo Action. And then, of course, swiping over to the side, we have access to all of the video and everything that we've shot before in the different orientations. Playback, the screen on the back of the Osmo Action is just really nice. It's good quality video and a great way to preview back everything that you've shot. So let's talk about price and value. The iPhone 15 Pro Max is a pretty expensive phone. There are cheaper iPhones that you can go with. So if instead you bought an entry-level iPhone, you'd have the extra money to buy something like the Osmo Pocket 3. However, is the Osmo Pocket 3 something that you really need? If you're looking for something like Active Track, maybe being the main feature that you want, you can get an iPhone 15 Pro Max and buy the DJI Osmo Mobile, which brings that sort of functionality to your iPhone. You don't necessarily have to buy the Osmo Pocket with all of the additional options that I have shown here that comes with this kit, but I think it's most usable when you buy it with those accessories such as the wireless mic. And so the Osmo Pocket by itself is not nearly as useful and functional as the Osmo Pocket with the full kit that comes with the case, that comes with the extra battery and the wireless mic. They're definitely features that the Osmo Pocket kind of needs to have. For the price, I believe both of these devices deliver when it comes to video and audio quality. They're both fantastic devices at doing what they do. However, the Osmo Pocket is a camera, and that's about all that it does. It captures video and it does what it does well. However, the iPhone is more practical because it is a phone and it is a personal assistant, a small computer. It is all sorts of things. You can also edit your video. You can upload your video to social media and all of that stuff from an iPhone. You would need an iPhone in order to do that from the Osmo Pocket. The Osmo Pocket is not going to be able to edit your video. It's not going to be able to publish that directly to the web. You're going to need the iPhone and the Mimo app in order to do that. So do you need the Osmo Pocket 3? Well, it really depends on what you're shooting and if you want a dedicated device for that. A lot of times our iPhone can be a bit distracting. A lot of things are going on our phone. We're getting notifications. We could have phone calls come in and all of those different things. And so you really have to think deeply about shooting with your iPhone and preparing your iPhone so that it doesn't become a distraction that gets in the way of shooting your video. Where with the Osmo Pocket, it's a dedicated device that shoots great video and does a good job at it with the action track and other features that are unique to this device. But the Osmo Pocket is not something that's very cheap. It is an expensive piece of equipment, and to me, I have to be able to justify using it enough, and in most of the instances where I would want to use it, I can't get close enough to the action because it just doesn't have enough zoom. Ultimately, what I would really love to have is an Osmo Pocket that had the camera cluster and gimbal that the Mavic 3 Pro has on it, that has multiple cameras just like an iPhone, so that I can zoom in close with a different camera and have different options and flexibility there with my shooting. But with the Osmo Pocket, we're stuck with 1 to 2x, which doesn't really get us that close to the action. But I do believe that the Osmo Pocket has a lot of utility for somebody that wants some stable footage and wants the active track features in a small device that they could just pull out and get to work with. Whether you're vlogging or you're capturing B-roll for something, or you're doing walk and talk type videos where you want good audio and you want a camera that's going to keep your subject in frame, the Osmo Pocket is a fantastic option for that because you could just pull it out of your pocket and get to shooting right away with some amazing features that you would have to adapt to your iPhone to make happen. And those tools would be a lot bigger than something like the Osmo Pocket. So what do you think? What's the preferred shooting tool for you when it comes to shooting video? Is it an iPhone with maybe an external mic and a small camera gimbal, or is it the Osmo Pocket that has everything built in and is always ready to go? Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below. I've got links in the description in case you wanted to pick up an Osmo Pocket, including some of the accessories that are best used with the Osmo Pocket. Make sure to check those out. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you back in another one soon. Take care.